That was hot. Tiny bit of overspray on my glasses. Minimal. The HVLP is it's very controlled. It does leave a bit of a fine mist on stuff, but it doesn't attach. Not well. It could be cleaned off with an SOS pad probably. You see, like, that's the fine mist it leaves behind. And with minimal effort it can be wiped clean. So yeah, a little bit of overspray. So you can use your little cleaning brush on the outside. So this is my my spray gun, is the Mastercraft. It comes with actually this case to have all the brushes and stuff hung up in here. And it came with the paint filters, which I just stuck on top. There. So here's the case. It has a small gun and a big gun. It came with your Teflon tape. It has little filters, but I took one out and I don't really see why I would need to use that anytime soon. It has a little tool, which is almost useless. The paint filters fit in that little slot. And it comes with an adapter for your hose, but I didn't need that. It didn't really fit in that spot it was supposed to fit in. Some bizarro world here. Anyway, it's just there. And it can be mounted on the wall with a couple screws. I just haven't got around to setting it up there. I've just been leaving it here. So I keep my paint filters in there. I also keep this wrench handy because I said that tool is useless. And when you put the pot on the gun, you just need to give out just a minuscule, like 30-second of a turn just to make sure that it's really tight. I keep a stack of yogurt containers. You really need to wash out the one that you use for paint filtering right away, or it will stick. And I have my multi-tool here to open up my cans, and I just use it to scrape down the stir stick. And I almost hurt. I never use this one. I use this one for the inside of the pot and the toothbrush. And those are the Sherwin-Williams, the Chem Aqua Surfacer. And the one I showed on the camera, which probably reverse, was the Chem Aqua Plus, and this is the low gloss white. So I'm using this for my Shiplap, which is what this is. This actually was all of our old ceiling boards taken down. Okay, so this is our ceiling in our kitchen. I can show you one of these. They're already dry anyway, but it was like that on our ceiling, where it was this side, and it had where are we at here? It had those grooves. I didn't like the V groove in it, so we flipped it over, ran it through the planer. Some of them are cut, like you see there's one that has 3 cutouts here because that was pot lights, so there's a matching one like that somewhere. There's one with one in the corner, there's a pot light cutout of. There's a couple of smaller pieces, like that's a smaller one with an angle. Oh no, that actually was a pot light and part of it broke off. So, you know, they're not all perfect, but we're only doing above the cupboards. This is the backsplash. So we only needed the top half of the wall, so that wasn't that many. And then we can cut some and use them for the 2 sides of the kitchen cabinets. So right now, everyone has had 2 coats of top coat, except these 2 rows and these 3 boards. So those 5 boards need their second coat of top coat. And there's some boards underneath them that they weren't that great. When I ran out of space to do them, I didn't really care. So I may do them if we really need them. Otherwise, I'll just stack them up and get them out of the way. Because I want to do my other coats of my ceiling tiles. These only have 2 coats on them so far. And you can see the bit of speckle, and you can see some of the tin through it. So I need to do more coats of this, but I need the space to, I can sit 6 here. I have 1 there and 1 here, and I have only done 2 coats of the first 8, I think. But I actually have 17 to do. So I really need to get back to doing that, so I had to finish up these wall boards. But as you can see, the setup works really well with those adjustable shelves. So we put 4 tracks along this wall, and there are 4 tracks on that wall. So when I'm doing cupboard doors, which are not this long, I have a couple that may be this long, but that's about it. I'll be putting them on those shelves over there and setting them up there. So that worked out really well. These actually are the backs of the ceiling tiles. So another thing we could do is tack them down before I do the last coat so that the paint covers the nails or screws. Or I assume we're going to use nails because you're going to probably see this edge unless the coffer, because it's going to go here, unless the coffer comes up. So we haven't really determined that yet because the wood will smush this part down. So anyway, these tiles need to be attached to those. Maybe they're just going to be glued on. And then those are what gets mounted to the ceiling. So I just been using them to practice my spraying. So, yeah. So that's our room so far. I have other paint stuff here, my chalk paints and different paints. I have a camera there we never set up to kind of watch this. It's probably should be mounted to the ceiling to get a better angle and less overspray. And I have an extra light here just because when I'm doing the board here, I need to see, you can see the sheen, right, from that light. So just to make sure that the paint's flowing and everything. Because really down the board, it's hard to see any real sheen. And this is low gloss anyway. So there's not a ton of sheen to begin with. So that light at the end really helps because you can kind of see how these ones, they are definitely a little more shiny. So, and I just have some cleaner and I'm rinsing up my paint pot and I'll be taking the gun apart to clean it out. That's where I put the filter when I'm done. And then, see, I can't really reuse these ones because paint is stuck on the inside. So I can't use them as filter ones. I clean up my sink. And I just, when I dump paint out, I wipe the outside. I just have it sitting on paper towels so it doesn't make too big a mess of the countertop. I did get a drip over there one day. But otherwise, this is my paint room setup. I got another light there. That's where I keep my mask. I wiped it all out, hung it up. I just have a chair to sit down if I have to do work. Like when I was washing these down with alcohol. My back was really sore that day, so I just sat down, did it. You can see the little paint on my hose there. And that's my hose. My air compressor comes on almost immediately after I start the gun because it's not quite probably big enough, but I don't lose any pressure on the gun, so I think we're fine. And that was my Rust-Oleum for the ceiling tiles. I finished one whole can for doing just half the tiles, 2 coats, where I did all 18 tiles with the clear, and I did 2 coats of that, and I only ran out after 18. So obviously got better coverage to do with the white to really cover up the tin. The rest of the tiles I finished are under there, being protected. As you can see, this is the overspray, but it's almost dry in the air, so it's more like dust. Hopefully, because I see some dusty particles there, but that's the ones I've done for the backsplash. And I just keep them protected here from any overspray from the other stuff. Little screws and stuff that keep finding screws on the floor as the rooms are coming apart. The screws seem to be everywhere. And I get some tools in there. And my smoke detector went off partway through because I didn't have the door open. I have my mask on so I can breathe, but only the window open a crack. So I had to open the door to make the smoke detector stop going off. So here we are.